Hello, you amazing, epic global family. Welcome again to another, I don't know whether it's a chapter or a page in this kind of video diary, my video journal, as we continue to move forward and forward in our journey. And I say our because I consider it as much about me and Schuyler, but also you, because I think we've all been discovering that in a way, each of our stories is kind of like everybody's story in a certain way. And so today, when I'm recording this, it's April 3rd, 2023, which is exactly 2,600 days since that boulder fell on Schuyler. And I can assure you that once we had gotten the news, of course, that the boulder had struck Schuyler, and at first, of course, as if you've been following along with our story, you knew that basically the scene that was being posted was totally hopeless. It was going back as far as 2,000 years. There was such strong medical precedent that when you could see a patient's brain, they simply did not survive. This was almost unimpeachable, right? And yet, if you've been following our story, you'll see that I think one of the slight differences in our story is that not only was it the perfect storm in that we were able to take Schuyler and get her with some of the best medical talent in the world at Jackson Memorial in Miami, with some of the best access to medical technology. But we also chose to really couple that with some of the best training that I had been fortunate to receive in what I call the inner game. And this is everything from going all the way back to the teachings of the Stoics for thousands of years of how our minds are wired and when it really helps us and when it really works against us. Things that can seem a little bit nebulous, like the law of attraction, right? Or as I prefer to call it, the law of attracting the right action. And then, of course, actual things like Aikido, studying not only the physicality of it, but how our minds, how our perception of reality can actually impact the physical. And then, of course, neuroscience, neurolinguistic programming. So all of it kind of came together in this perfect storm of people who were adept in the outer game and synergizing that with what can I have power over in my own inner game and what can I bring of value to the table. So this is obliterating the sense of victimhood where we're overwhelmed with this perception of not enoughness, right? There isn't enough of me to be able to become victorious. It's when the David and Goliath story kind of goes astray because David becomes his own worst enemy and convinces himself there's no way that I'm going to be able to conquer that Goliath. Well, so the theme of today really goes, actually, it's kind of tied to a quote that I love by Meg Cabot, which is courage is not the absence of fear, but rather the judgment that something else is more important than fear. And the quote goes on to say, the brave may not live forever, but the cautious do not live at all. And from now on, you'll be traveling the road between who you think you are and who you can be, right? And so what's interesting to me about this quote is, yes, of course, it is relevant to the context of fear, but quite honestly, you can extract that word fear and put just about any other word in there. So courage is not the absence of the unknown, of not knowing what's ahead, but rather the judgment that something else is more important than that uncertainty, than that unknowing. Right? Something else is more important. Courage is not the absence of feeling that I am more than enough, or the worry that I'm not enough, but rather the judgment that something else is more important than that. Courage is not the absence of pain, but rather the judgment that something else is more important than the pain, right? So for us, this past week, it's interesting. So Schuyler, of course, has it's the tortoise and the hare, but for Schuyler, it's very, very much, for her, it feels like the tortoise. It feels like, oh my goodness, just can't I be done with this? Can't I be walking, or will I be walking again? Right. So there's a lot of unknown. There's quite a bit of like stickiness around what may lie ahead, because there is no precedent for this. In my own case, it's yes, I'm of course absorbed into that because I'm her mother. And so any of you who have people that you care about, pets that you care about, you know that you can relate that when you feel that they're feeling pain, whether it's physical pain or emotional pain, it's heart-wrenching, right? You want to just swoop in there and make it all go away for them. And you want every single dream that they dream to be able to come true. You want to grab this magic wand, right? And so it's the same for me. And sometimes my heart aches thinking of, oh, I just wish her path could be easier for this. I also have my own life, which is going parallel, and forget about how it's been logistically impacted by this adventure, this journey. But there are also some legacy things, and then there are also some very real things. So guess what? As it turns out, I was born with my left leg about 6 millimeters shorter than my right leg. Now, it may not sound like a big deal, may not sound like a lot. However, when you are 62, and in just a few months going to be 63, surprisingly, it becomes a big deal, especially when it hasn't been diagnosed. So I've just been kind of forging my way through life. And of course, you know, our bodies being these amazing, miraculous things, have been there trying to support me. However, literally, pardon the pun, what has happened is that it has meant that as I get older and things kind of settle a little bit, that difference has become more and more pronounced. And so it has put my right hip out of alignment. In fact, now at this point, it's become bone on bone. Which of course forces the other parts of my body, my back, to readjust. And that's why I noticed for a while that my right shoulder was a little bit higher. I thought it was just my old waitressing days when I was thinking I was an actress, but actually technically I was a waitress, at least as much as I was an actress. And I thought maybe it was just from holding a heavy purse or holding a heavy tray. It was the fact that this leg was shorter. My body was trying to adjust. And so now it is caught up to me, and that it's bone on bone. So it's been excruciatingly painful. So in just a matter of a few months, kind of maybe a little more than a year, it has gone from every now and then kind of bothering me to the point where I've been completely readjusting how far I walk, where I go, what I do, because I'm in such pain. And in fact, some days I'm in so much pain, even to like get into the car has been like, whoa, literally. So I'm about to have a hip replacement. So what that means is, how am I going to identify myself? Now it's more important than ever that I go back to this common theme that you're probably hearing over and over again with me, because to me, this is the core of everything. How do I see myself? And who do I see myself becoming? Do I see this as evidence of, oh, here it comes, here's the decline? Or do I see myself as this is just another opportunity for me to take advantage of what is accessible to us, get in there, fix it, get a little bit bionic for a week or two. I'll maybe even be able to have a walker race with my child, because yes, I will be on a walker for a week. But then I am going to be like an even more epic version of me because I won't have this pain. I'll have this issue kind of, I'll have to grit my way through it. But more important to me is what lies ahead. So our theme so much today, and the reason I share this with you is if you've got something, whether it's a physical pain, whether it's an emotional pain, whether it's professional pain, whether it's just a dream in general, who am I pain? The opportunity is this. You can be ruled by that pain and you can wait for those things out there to change, or you can decide that this one go at this adventure that we call life is your opportunity, and making it the most epic that you can possibly make it under whatever your circumstances are, especially those that you can control. That is more important than allowing the emotions to dictate the colors of your canvas. So today, the message really is, no, things are not always quote unquote ideal, nor are they always easy. And yet they don't have to be easy in order to be epic. 2 4-letter words, but not necessarily really related. So I hope this has been helpful to you. Our journey is very much about going out and not letting these things define you, and definitely not letting them negatively impact the way you look at yourself and you look at yourself in the mirror. It's the saying that I hold very close that you may have heard me say before, that we can choose to be defined by the boulders that leave us scarred, or we can choose for these scars to cry out that we were mightier than the frickin' boulders that tried to bring us down, and say we have one goal and one goal only. And that is, whenever it comes to be taking our last breath, saying, oh my gosh, this was frickin' epic. I hope I get the chance to do this again. And so much of that is in our control. So my message to you from our week is go out there and savor this crazy adventure that we call life, whatever it looks like for you right now. Find the play, find the fun challenge, right? But make it yours in the most delicious way you possibly can. And look ahead down the road and expect great things for yourself, and make that your purpose, make that your determination, that your focus, and revel in every single step along the way. So I'm Meridith Alexander. It is 2,600 days since that frickin' boulder dropped into our lives. And yet, in many ways, our lives are even more epic, different, but more epic than we ever would have imagined them to be before that frickin' boulder. So have an epic day yourself. This is another little page or chapter in our video journal. See you next time. Bye for now.